Hello, hello. Hope you're well. Happy Friday. Hoping this is working. I'm just going to double check in the group to make sure that it's coming up because I had some proper issues yesterday with the internet. It's not looking much better today, in all honesty. But I'm just going to have a little look and see how. Do let me know what the quality's like. It's looking a bit ropey. Oh, there's 3 people watching. So let me know if it's just not good enough, and I might do some recording over the weekend instead. But if you could let me know, if you pop up and let me know how bad it is, that would be fab. It turns out my internet just hasn't been working for the last few days, which is particularly sad and really annoying when you're trying to do live workshops. So let me know what you think. If it's too ropey, then I'm going to stop this and we'll just have to cope with me doing a pre-record and I'll upload it for you to watch. But let me know what you think. Anyway, happy Friday. Hope you're keeping well, like actually keeping well, and hope lockdown is not too much for you. Nobody's commented on the fact that it's just not good enough, but it's looking a bit rubbish on... I don't know what to do. Okay, we'll do part 2. I'll have a look at it. If it's terrible, I will re-record it over the weekend and replace it. So this is, of course, the second part of day 4. Yesterday, we spoke to the lovely Becky from the Warrior Programme. They came on and talked to us about imposter syndrome, which I think was already. Definitely go and watch that. So today is the second part of that, and it is on page 13 of the workbook. If you have it, then definitely go and check out page 13. So we're going to work through it together. But first, I wanted to share a few book recommendations I have based on what Becky talked about yesterday when she was mentioning imposter syndrome. And it's 3 books that I have read that I recommend, that nobody's paying for me to share these. Do not worry. And I really like them. And I think if you come to any of the Milspo meetups at the start of lockdown, you'll know that I am a massive fan of this book. It's called The Comparison Cure. I will hold... Internet has decided that it's happy. It's by Lucy Sheridan, and it is the most amazing book. I would definitely recommend it. Kindle. Today, if you are good, she is British, she is a business coach, and this is all about helping you if you're having problems with comparing yourself to other people. And it's brilliant. I read it last January and it changed my entire year. I would definitely recommend it. That's the first one. The second one, which I love, The Middle Finger Project. Hopefully good. It's more of a memoir type thing. She's an amazing coach. She's a business owner, and she's had a bit of a tough life, but it is good fun. It is very good giggles as well if you read it. It's a bit sweary, not going to lie. It's a bit sweary, but I particularly liked it, so I would recommend that one. And the very last one is this one. It's called Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and this is also one of those life-changing books that I can't stop reading. I've read it about 2 or 3 times now. And I love it. And sad to say, the reason that I bought this book was because apparently Adele bought it, and that's how she lost all her weight, which is a terrible reason to buy a book. But I think it's brilliant. Untamed as well by Glennon Doyle. It's about it's specifically for women, and it's about finding your way and reassessing all the things that you think you have to be as a woman. And it's a good read. It's half biography, half sort of stories. So I definitely recommend it. So those are my 3 books that I thought would help with the talk about imposter syndrome yesterday. So I'm going to work through the day 4 that we're going through. Then I'm going to finish this video and come back again to do day 5, which is today's, just so they're broken up a little bit better. So we are on page 13, and this is all about finance, because the whole point of knowing your worth and sorting out your imposter syndrome is charging the right amount for what you're doing. And the only way your key clients because they are your greatest assets. Once you find your dream clients, they all want to buy from you. It'll be easier to sell to them and build your business ultimately, which is the whole Business Boost week, is to build these amazing businesses, to relaunch them and to shoot them into this best year ever. So I'm going to focus on your clients today. So if you're on page 13, we need to find your clients and customers. They are your greatest asset. But it's really important that you realise that your business is not for everybody, and it is impossible for you to sell to everybody. Yes, you might want to make sales in your business, and yes, you want to open up to as many people you can, but you really need to focus on those people who are going to buy from you, who really want to buy from you, because it's an awful lot less effort. If you go out there trying to sell to everybody, it's almost impossible to make sales because you're trying to please too many people and you're just not special enough to them. Whereas if you really focus on key people, then they're the ones who are going to have your back and look after you. For example, look at Milspo. Milspo is specifically for military spouses, partners, and other halves. And that involves most of the community. So married to veterans or partnered to reservists, but it's a really small niche. If I was doing business advice for the entire world, I wouldn't attract how many decent people as I do now, and they wouldn't be interested in listening to me, and they wouldn't be interested in doing the Business Boost Challenge because they just don't get it. They don't get what I'm saying. Whereas you, because I've specialised in marketing to you, understand it. And it's the same with my design work. I mostly design for military companies, and it's because I have niched down. The Americans call it, don't know quite why, it's a bit weird, but I call it niched. It's niched down people, and that they are your dream clients and customers, and those are the ones you are going to sell to. So we need to find out who they are. There's a little exercise on page 13 about their dream day. And you want to find out about these amazing clients because you want to know what makes them tick and how to sell to them and how to create products that are perfect for them. So page 13, I want you to write about their day, starting with what they have for breakfast, what they do in the morning, what car they drive, where they go. I mean, sometimes we can go places. So just imagine it's a normal day. What they spend their money, if they have children, if they have a partner, what they do. It's going to be an awful lot easier for you to focus your products and services on these people. Like, if you have any questions or comments, do put them in the box because I'm watching. So hopefully this is still going. There's still 7 of you watching along. So this is very promising. So I'll give you a few minutes to work on that if you have the workbook. And if you do have any questions about that, then let me know. And like I said yesterday or the day before, with the journaling, checking this work. You put down what you think is best, you go for it and you embrace it and make the most of it. So moving on to page 14, you want to find what clients are. Sometimes you can create a focus group. It's going to be a bit tricky in this climate, but you can do it online. And a focus usually a group of your best customers and clients that have come back to you or you've used in the past. If you've just started out, then you'll still have a few people that have probably bought from you or they're interested in what you do, and you want to question them. You want to get them together and you want to ask some key questions about your business, because you can find out so much more about your clients and customers once you ask them. A lot of assuming that happens in business, which is bad, frankly. Normally, we assume that our clients and customers are exactly like us, and that's what happens the majority of the time. You want to check and you want to make sure that you're not missing out on any goodness. You want to ask them these questions because they'll come up with little nuggets that will be really helpful in your business. For example, the Milspo meetups only started because I asked you, like, if you fancy some online meetings, and you were like, yes, and we should do this and we should do that. Which is why I'm always asking you questions and always asking you what you want. And ask them what they want. Okay, Claire, what sort of questions should we be asking? So there is the space in to fill them out, but I would be asking questions around, so for you, yours is all about health and well-being. It would be things like, what do you struggle with? What are your struggles? In fact, this is for all businesses. You want to find out what people struggle with that solve their problem. You would ask them things like how much emphasis they put on their health. So if their problems were, so if you're another type of business and you found out what the problems are, you want to find out how important those problems are in their life and how they want to solve them. If you're a service business, you want to know how much time that would save them, how much money they might want to pay for it. If it's a product business, you also want to talk about money. But just ask them things around, if you're providing a product, whether they've used it before, whether they would use it, what's wrong with it. You want to find the negatives as well as the positives. And just ask them an awful lot of questions and see what comes out and see what flows. Because things will come out that you didn't necessarily think of, but also other questions will lead on from the answers they give. So that's why you should probably brainstorm some questions before you get going, because you want to have a little bit of an idea of what you want to talk about before you start, but you'll be surprised how much comes from them. You could do it via a survey. You could do an online survey and have a little out, because there's always a lot of information that comes from that. But the most important part is to listen and to not assume that you already know this stuff. This is all about researching and refining what you're doing, because it makes it ultimately easier to sell to these people and to sell to people that are like this. I hope that answered your question, Claire, but do let me know if you want me to elaborate a little bit more on that. Oh my goodness, so much talking. At the bottom of page 14, there's a little bit about analytics. Do not be frightened about analytics. You don't need to know what they are. You don't need to know how they work. You don't need to know much about analytics. But what you do need to do, if you've not done them before, is to go and have a little look. Because you'd be surprised at how obvious it is, really. Sometimes big words and big things in business can be a little bit off-putting. But like all things in business, you go it and you do it, and you try it and you practice, and it all gets a little bit easier. So do go and have a look at your demographics and your analytics. And I've given you a little space here to fill out what you found out and a little bit about who they are, their age, their location, the best times are on social media if you're going to market through social media. So do fill that out, because it is just interesting. Like I said, don't assume that your majority of your audience are women, because you'll be doing yourself out of business and you'll be doing yourself out of being able to provide the best products or services for your clients and customers. Somebody has, please, on the questions that you ask. You might have to let me know a little bit more about what to elaborate on. And I'll keep looking in the comments. I'm waiting for that. So moving on to page 15. So you've worked out a little bit about your audience. You know who they are. By this point, you might have spoken to them in a focus group, or you might just be working through this. That's okay. It's time to tell them why they should pick you, why you are so special, why you are so amazing business, why you are so much better than your competitors, and why and what you can do from them. So page 15, time to stand out from the crowd. Okay, are you ready? This is the exciting part. This is when you apply what you have your customers to the products and services you can produce for them. So here it is. What is your ideal audience struggling with most? What is it that you do that can help solve this problem for them? So this is the shiny bit. This is the bit that you'll be shouting about and telling them what their problem is. How do you solve their problems? Because you want to look at your competitors, not because you want to have comparison syndrome and you want to feel bad, but because it's interesting to see what they're up to, what they're doing, to keep track of them, not to compare yourself. Do not compare yourself. You're all very different. You're all special in different ways, but just to keep ahead of your industry. And also, it makes some of the hard work a little bit easier. And how can you improve what you're already offering to take into account the things that you have found through your research? And once you've done this, what you need to do is, when you are talking to your audience, you want to tell them how you can solve the problem for them. So it's really simple in business. You are a problem solver. You provide services and products to make people's lives better, which is why they want to buy from you. If you spend your time telling them why you're amazing and why you can solve problems for people and how you can solve problems for them, they are going to get it straight away and they are going to want to buy from you. It's really important to remember what you do and why you do it better than anybody else, and start telling people, because they're not going to know this. They aren't going to read your mind, and you really need to be proud of what you do and proud of the services you provide. What I would recommend is, if you are a highly qualified person in that stage, you don't put that as your primary thing that you tell them. Certain industries, it might be an advantage to tell them that you're qualified, but that should be secondary. The first thing you should always tell people is why what you do is so special and how it can help them. And then after all of that, you want to talk about your qualifications. Because quite frankly, if you come to me for graphic design, you want to know that the product you get is going to be better than anybody else's, and it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be just like your business, and it's going to be special for you. If you come to me and go, hi, are you any good at graphic design? And I go, well, I've got a degree in it. You're like, yeah, but does that mean you're any good at it? Nobody cares about your qualifications. Nobody wants to know you're qualified. Yes, if you are doing something medical, or if you're an accountant, you want to be qualified, or it helps to be qualified. You might want to be part of different industry groups. But if that's your first sales pitch, that is not making you special from anybody else. So leave that right until the end. It's quite dull, and people don't really matter. Don't really care about this stuff. So focus on how you can help the person, how you can help your clients and customers. This exercise will really do that. So do we have any questions at all? I would multitasking and watching this live while doing something else, you're not going to get the best out of it. So go away and come back later and focus on it, and let's do it properly at leisure. Like I said on Monday, this is fun. This is a fun video. This is a fun week. And if life is too crazy and you're too busy, if you're homeschooling, or if you are not focusing on it, then don't waste your time on this at the moment. Save this excitement, save this research, new business year until a time when you're freer. You can do it in the middle of August. You can do it at the end of the year. You can do it whenever you like, but you choose. But it's not going to be very easy to teach your children how to do secondary school maths and listen to me at the same time. So give yourself a break. It's a long week. Step away from this live and come back when you can. From that, does anybody have any questions about the end of day 4? I hope it makes sense. I would recommend downloading the workbook and working through it, because it does make more sense, and it is a better and easier way to get stuck into these little, what is the word I'm looking for? Exercises. It's these exercises. Fab. Right. So I think that is all for this second part of day 4. I'm going to pop back in a minute and do day 5. So if you do have any questions, let me know. Right. Alrighty then. I will speak to you